Recording in progress.
안녕하세요. 메디아나 사장 강동원입니다. 메디아나는 1993년 설립되어서 심장 충격기 및 환자 감시 장치 분야에서 세계적인 기술력을 보유하고 있으며, 이런 기술력을 바탕으로 미국의 메드트로닉, 독일의 지멘스, 일본의 후쿠다 덴시와 같은 글로벌 의료기기 업체와 ODM 협력을 하고 있습니다. 하버드 대학병원, 존스 홉킨스 대학병원, 도쿄 대학병원 등 전 세계 유명 대학병원에서도 저희 메디아나 제품을 찾아보실 수 있을 뿐만 아니라 미국, 유럽, 아시아, 중동, 아프리카까지 전 세계 80여 개국이 넘는 국가에서도 메디아나 자체 브랜드 제품을 수출하고 있습니다. 메디아나가 글로벌 시장에서 인정을 받는 이유는 끊임없는 기술 혁신과 철저한 품질 관리 부분입니다. 혁신적 기술을 바탕으로 한 신제품 출시는 물론 설계부터 생산까지 철저한 품질 관리 시스템을 바탕으로 저희 메디아나는 글로벌 브랜드로 나아가고 있습니다. 환자 감시 장치 분야에서는 무선 통신 시스템과 EMR 연동을 통해 원격 진단 시스템 구축을 하고 있으며, 심장 충격기 분야에서는 기술력을 갖춘 A16, G700과 같은 고사양 제세동기로 시장을 공략하고 있습니다. 또한 체성분 분석기 분야에서는 고급형 i20, i30 제품에 이어서 고급형인 i50 제품 출시로 고객 만족을 위해 노력하고 있습니다. 메디아나는 앞으로도 혁신적 기술 개발과 우수한 품질 시스템을 바탕으로 빠르게 변화하는 시장의 흐름을 파악하고 다양한 제품을 공급하기 위해서 노력을 이어가도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
Good evening and good morning, everyone. I would like to thank you all for being here. Welcome to the launch event of our newest defibrillator, the Mediana D100. We are very excited to meet all of you via this live video link. The year 2022 is very special for all of us, as we all try to get back to business as usual. Mediana is counting its investment into constant innovation to improve the clinical aspects of our products. So today, we want to show you a new generation of defibrillator that offers highly reliable and effective defibrillation at a new price point. We are very proud and excited by this announcement, and I would now like to introduce my colleague, Jin Kim, who will share with you more details about the new device.
Hello everyone, I'm Jin Kim from the EU and CIS sales team, and today I will introduce to you our D100 defibrillator. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the D100, our newest model in our lineup of Mediana's defibrillators. This is a simple overview of the things I would like to talk about today. I will talk about the intended use of the D100, the product features, the different modes of the device, explain the operation display, and briefly introduce the communication features. After that, we will do a hands-on demonstration, and finally, we will give you opportunity to ask some questions. So at the start, we want to give some reasons why our customers should choose Mediana defibrillators. We here at Mediana are proud that we are a trusted global ODM partner for some of the leading brands in the industry, such as Medtronic from the US, Fukuda Denshi from Japan, and Siemens from Germany. If these companies can trust our quality, so can your customers. Also, Mediana itself is a top brand for sales in the domestic Korean market. All of our product categories have a large market share here. The South Korean market is a very advanced medical device market where usually important brands are preferred. But depending on the product sector, we have up to 30% market share as a trusted brand in Korea. Finally, we use globally market-leading technologies for our devices. We often use the same components that we use for our ODM devices in our own products. Before I introduce the features of the D100, I first want to explain the concept behind this new product. So, what was our aim? Globally, last year, we actually sold approximately 2,200 MEDs. And when we analyze our sales, we find that 76% of the units we sell per year are either standard or standard plus SpO2. Based on this, our aim was to develop a highly reliable and economic defibrillator that meets the kind of minimal configuration at the lowest possible cost. So let's go to the device itself. As you can see, the dimensions here are very compact. and the weight is only 5.5 kilogram with basic options. Since it has a smaller size and lighter weight than the D100, it is very good for mobility. By limiting some of the vital signs options, we are able to offer D100 at a much better price point. We offer the D100 with a very simple and intuitive user interface, which should make the handling of the device very simple for the end user. Also, we offer multi-language support, which 15 languages is pre-installed on the defibrillator. In addition, we offer wireless communication and a sedentary monitoring system for the D100, and I will say more about this at the end of the presentation. Mediana will offer a dedicated ambulance bracket for this unit, which will offer both AC-DC and DC-DC charging. Now let's talk briefly about the target market for the D100. It is aimed at doctors and nurses and other medical specialists in hospital departments, such as operation rooms and emergency rooms. Also, we plan to market this product aggressively to the ambulance market. I will now move on to the functional features. The D100 has 3 and 5 lead ECG, optional pacing, and SpO2, a 70-inch TFT LCD display, and an easy-to-reach high-contrast white and black screen. It, of course, also has a printer as a standard. When you look at the picture of the device, you can see how many functions keys of the defibrillator. Patient type selection, ECG size, and ECG select buttons have been moved to the left side to make it easier for users to use. The D100 offers only one vital sign, SpO2, and here we offer the choice between Medtronic and our own Mediana SpO2. All other technologies of the defibrillator are our own. Here now, you can see the front of the D100. Let's briefly go through all the function buttons. We start in the center with 7-inch LCD. On the left side, at the top, is the button to change the patient type, adult and pediatric. Below is the button to change the ECG lead. Below is the key to change the size of the ECG wave. Then you have a button to start and stop the printer. You can then see the speaker for alarms and voice prompts. At the bottom is the cradle for or ambulance bracket with which you can mount the defibrillator in an ambulance. At the top, you can see the paddles, which can be used for both adult and pediatric patients. Below is the mode selection button. The right below, you can see plus and minus to select the shock energy level. Then the small gray button is for the analyzing function in manual mode, and next to that, the charging button. Below that, you find the sync button, and the big red button is to release the shock. The last two buttons are the alarm silence button and the event button. Below the display is, of course, the multifunction knob to navigate the menus. From the back side, you can see the cradle hook, which you can use to lock the defibrillator into the ambulance bracket. Below that is the connector for DC power, which energy can be supplied through the ambulance bracket. Then at the bottom, there is AC power connector, and on the right side, we have a connector for ground. If you look at the right side, you can see the cover of the SD card slot and the wireless communication module, InfraX, and the paddle or pads connector. Now from the left side, you see the thermal printer, the ECG connector, and below that, the SpO2 sensor. Let's now go to the 4 different user modes of the D100. The D100's AED mode is designed to guide you through the standard treatment algorithms for cardiac arrest. The D100 provides therapy through the application of a brief biphasic pulse of electricity to the cardiac muscle. Configuration choices allow you to customize AED mode to better meet the unique needs of your organization or resuscitation. In the manual defibrillation mode, I want to highlight the sync mode. The synchronized cardio version allows use to synchronize the delivery of the shock with the R wave of the ECG. The user can use the sync mode with pads or paddles. Either is fine. You may check the status of the contact when the contact indicator is set to on. The indicator bar and impedance measure from pads are displayed. The D100 also offers full control of defibrillation through the paddles. You can control the energy level, charge, and also shock through controls buttons on the paddles. In the monitor mode, the D100 provides 3 and 5 lead ECG, SpO2, and the respiration rate with up to 3 waveforms. And in the pacing mode on the right side, the defibrillator monitor can deliver pace pulses in either demand mode or fixed mode. In demand mode, the defibrillator monitor only delivers pace pulses when the patient's heart rate is lower than the selected pacing rate. In fixed mode, the defibrillator monitor delivers pace pulses at the selected rate. Pacing therapy is used to deliver pace pulses to the heart. Pace pulses are delivered through multifunction pads that are applied to the patient's bare chest. And next, let me explain to you about the trends data. When the defibrillator monitor turns on starts to measure the vital signs, the defibrillator monitor saves the data at 1-minute intervals. The data remains if the defibrillator monitor is powered off. When the trend data has saved more than 5,000 data points, the defibrillator monitor will delete the oldest data and save the new data. Event reviews are stored separately. The event data is stored in the device memory. The defibrillator monitor saves data 10 seconds before and after the point of event generation. When the saved data reaches 250 events, the D100 will delete the oldest data and save the new data. Different kinds of events are saved and include defibrillation, pacer mode, heart rate alarm, VF alarm, and the marked event. Let's now move on to the self-tests. We can differentiate between manual self-test and auto self-test. The manual self-test covers 8 separate functions, including, for example, a therapy module alive test, an impedance test, and an interval shock test. If any of items fails, the service indicator will be illuminated. For the auto self-test, the self-test interval can be selected as off, 24, 48, or 72 hours. If the battery power is less than 60% without using AC or DC power, the self-test will not performed. The final thing I want to introduce in this section of our presentation are our communication features. InfoX is connected as a module on the right side of the defibrillator housing. Info-X is a Mediana's wireless communication module to connect the defibrillator with our central monitoring system, which is called Info-G. For easy understanding, the concept of communication is using processed by Info-X module that transmits data to where Info-G is installed in hospitals. So it will be very helpful in case of emergency when the patient's condition is critical in every minute and every second. Data transmission is available through Wi-Fi. The D100 also has a SD card memory card slot. The SD memory card is used to upload new system software, to load voice prompt data, and to download the trend data. The trend data downloaded on SD cards can be viewed on PC. I now want to switch over to the hands-on section of our presentation. Here, I want to show a few of the most important operations and settings for the D100. We start with the front side of the screen, where on the left side, we can see a parameter of the hotkeys that can be used conveniently, reach some important settings. With the patient type button here, on the left side of the defibrillator, we can switch the patient mode between adult and pediatric. This changes the alarm limits for vital signs and the energy settings for defibrillation. The Ecg Lead Select button lets the user choose the lead of the ECG waveform on the screen. So as you can see, you choose your display lead without going deep inside the setting menu, simply by pressing a button. If you have a 3-lead ECG cable, you can choose among lead 1, 2, and 3. With the ECG size button here, you can select the amplitude of the ECG waveform. You can select the ECG waveform size from 5 to 40 per millivolt. And lastly, here on the left side, you can press the print button for a continuous printout of the primary ECG and other selected waves with events, annotations, and measurements. Let's now switch over to the right side of the monitor with the main function buttons of the defibrillator. Mode selection knobs selects 4 modes of operation: the AED mode, the manual mode, the monitor mode, and the pacing mode. Just turn it to the desired mode of operation you want to use. For example, by turning the knob to AED mode, you are given step-by-step audio and visual guides. As we don't have the pads connected here, we are staying with the audio prompts to check the pads connection, but here in the right side of the window, you can see some information as the energy escalation steps, energy level, the contact indicator, and the expire time. Next one is manual mode. By turning the knob, now we enter the manual mode. You can see the select energy, the number of previously given shocks, the contact indicator, and the expire time. So let's just try it out. I can increase the energy level by pressing here, plus or minus on the paddles on the device. If I select the correct energy, here I simply choose the 40 joule, and I can charge either by pressing the orange button here, on the paddles or again at the front of the device. I've now charged to 40 joule, but as I decided not to deliver the shock, I can disarm the defibrillator with the soft key indicator here on the screen. When in the manual mode, I can switch also between sync mode and non-synchronized mode by the sync button on the screen. Let's now move to the monitor mode. If SpO2 is selected, you can see the following of displays: ECG waveform, the SpO2 waveform, and the respiration. On the right side of there are numbers of values for heart rate, the SpO2 value, and the respiration rate. If you like to change the alarm settings, you have two options. You can choose the soft key for alarm setup and go through the menus, or as I do here, you can simply move the jog dial to the parameter you want to choose. For example, the number of value of the respiration here. Enter the menu by pressing the jog dial. Simply navigate through the menu by the jog dial and confirm the pressing. We leave the menu by pressing Home button. The final mode we have is the pacing mode. Pacing is administered through the pads. For the settings, you press the soft key for pacing setup, and in this menu, you can select either fixed or demand mode, the pacing rate, and the pacing current. After you have completed the selection, you would press Resume Pacing to start the pacing with the selected settings. The last thing I want to show you is the menu for changing the configuration for the defibrillator. You can enter this menu in all modes. The configuration menu, you also navigate via the jog dial. You simply select what you want to change and press the jog dial. For example, here is Select Display, and if I want to change the color filter, I can select the grayscale simply like this. Grayscale can give users better visibility when using the device outdoors. In other menus, I can register a new patient, change the sound settings, or review events data. The structure of the menu should be quite intuitive, so you can easily navigate through the menus and see the options for the settings that you have. I hope this short demonstration has been enough to give you a first overview of our new D100 defibrillator monitor. And with this, we can move to the next segment and open up the floor to questions from the audience. So if you have questions you'd like to have answered, please just use your microphone to ask us. Thank you.
We now come to the conclusion of our short event to introduce to you our D100 defibrillator monitor. We hope that you could receive helpful information for the marketing of this new device. As you might know, one of our company motto is saving lives every day. Since 1993, Mediana went through many changes in the global marketplace, and we have achieved continuous growth through the hard work and effort of countless people, including executives and employees. For the most critical medical situations, Mediana develops and manufactures defibrillators, patient monitors, and AEDs for both domestic and overseas market. Through this, we contribute to saving the lives of the people that surround us. It could be our children, or it could be one of our family members. This is what makes us proud of the value and worth of our own work. Every day, Mediana employees, such as researchers and others, are putting forth their best efforts to develop a variety of new products with the high-quality technologies of this rapidly revolving industry. Mediana will continue to do its best and to repay the support and encouragement from you, our customer. Thank you.